Good night, this beat.
Officer, don't get confused. Mama got that noodle juice. Mama got that.
We all sinners, just sinning for our reasons. We tryna change the vision, cause they sentence us to seasons. We turned dope to hope, I guess we finally found our meaning. Cause we tired of the death by overdoses of our people, yeah. We all sinners, just sinning for our reasons. We get a neighborhood hope, feel like our only freedom. They judge us in their cages, then they drug us like we did.
What up? What's good, everybody? We here again, another episode from Dope to Hope. I'm your host, and today I have my distinguished guest, my man, Guy, DJ Flash, Thomas. What's good there, bro?
How you doing, Rob?
All is well, man.
Right.
We go back. There's some history here, man. So we just gonna have a conversation today, just to discuss a little bit of, our past, our present, and our future. Some of the events that happened in our lives that shaped us to who we are today. So, bro, shout out to his wife. She's here. And definitely shout out to House Music Wednesdays at Doche's. Y'all probably know him from that, but he holding it down, Elizabeth, New Jersey, Broad Street. So, come through on Wednesdays. What's the time?
The doors open at 5 and we're open till about 11. We're open till 11, but most of the time we're usually over by 10.
Okay.
But the doors open at 5. So anytime after 5 o'clock, it's an after work, it's an after work party, and we have a good time. It's basically for us older cats, older people, like me and my comrade over here.
Yeah.
For us to come out and have a safe environment. And it's sort of a fellowship in a way, because it's one way that the community comes together, and we get to mingle and catch up and laugh and joke, and because we don't see each other all the time. Sure. Because life be lifing right now,
and it's the good thing, because a lot of older heads don't want no problems with fights and beefing and shooting.
Exactly.
Listen, we just grateful to be here, because we've been through some things. So this is kind of what this podcast is about, man, from Dope to Hope. Right now I'm gonna jump into, a little bit. I want to get a little bit of your history, man.
Okay.
Just give me a little bit about your past, man. And what age did you pick up your first time using?
I remember, if I can remember, I think I started smoking marijuana. I might have been 15, maybe.
Okay.
I was young. Back then it was a different time. And when you're young, you don't realize what you're getting yourself into at the time you first start picking up. You just know it's fun. You smoke some weed and you laughing with your friends, and then you're trying to go to the corner store and get some snacks, and and that's pretty much where it started. I had to been about 15.
Okay.
So during that time I was I might have been a freshman in high school, sophomore in high school, something like that. I was still playing ball. I was a very good athlete in high school. Everybody knows me and Elizabeth. They don't know me from DJing. They go back, they know me from playing ball. Yeah.
He being modest. He was good. He was good. I never played with him, but I heard about him. Yeah.
So, and I was also in the Gifted and Talented program. Which was good as well, because, my classes were a little more advanced than the regular classes that everybody else were taking.
Okay.
And I was headed towards a promising future.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up I'm not even going to say the ghetto. I'm going to say, because I never looked at where we lived in our neighborhoods as a ghetto. It was just, it's where it's an urban environment. This is where we are. Sure. This is where all the black people live.
Yeah.
All your friends live. Back then times were different. The block I lived on, Monroe Avenue, everybody looked out for everybody. It's not like it is now, where you don't even really know your neighbors.
Yeah.
Where you can't even chastise or discipline someone else's kids. Well, when we were growing up, Miss Fox next door or Miss Thomas or whoever, when you was out there acting up, they'll tear you up. And then you got another whooping when your mom came home.
You can't touch nobody, kids. Diapers getting involved, and just the whole concept of it takes a village to raise a child. That concept is not really there, and parents aren't utilizing the community to help raise their children. Which, listen, I believe if a person has the right mindset and is in the right state of mind and can do things constructively, man, we should allow mentors in our children's lives in the community. So I got a question.
Sure,
man, because I know a lot of things happen that we may not look at that contributed to our use, our drug use. But were there any traumatic events in your life that you can reflect on that led you to use, to pick up?
Well, that's a good question. I didn't realize it at the time, but my mother was in a violent relationship. Like, my stepdad they was always fighting. He was always beating on her. She would have black eyes and during the time when you're going through this, after a while, it becomes abnormal behavior becomes normal.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? So, you don't really think about it, but then if you don't have a way to properly give yourself an outlet to get these feelings and things off your chest. So we don't know because, mental health is stigmatized in the Black community.
Yeah.
So, if you try to go see a mental health professional, the word around the neighbor, oh, he crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Regardless what you may be dealing with. But so we internalize all the trauma we go through. And as Black people, I feel 98% of us have suffered some type of trauma in our life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Whether it be domestic violence or physical violence or sexual assault or, things of that nature. Like it's a whole lot that encompasses what we deal with growing up in our neighborhoods. And, you were always taught to keep it, whatever goes on in your house, you keep it there.
That was actually a popular saying. Whatever goes on here stays here.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of us did suffer in silence.
Exactly.
And not being able to communicate.
Exactly.
Because, we especially young men, like, they told us not to express, not to cry. Like, don't complain, man up. Yeah. Like, we right now at 53, that whole man up, I don't like hearing it. Because what it did to me was not allow me to express my feelings, right? That's actually somebody telling me like, bro, like, you don't supposed to cry. You don't supposed to complain. You don't supposed to hurt.
Well, yeah, they expect you to compartmentalize your feelings.
Yeah, for sure.
And put it over here and move on. But you can't move on if you haven't properly dealt with what's going on over here.
It's that big pile of clothes.
Exactly.
All mixed up together.
Dirty clothes.
Dirty clothes. Yeah. Absolutely, man. So, you talked about sports. Like, did you go to college?
Went to college. Didn't stay that long, but I went. And the funny thing about it was, even when I went to college, I didn't realize the opportunity that I had when I had it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand the importance of going to school and getting education because I didn't have that one person who can guide me and discipline me and keep me. I know me as a parent, like, all three of my kids two of my kids are college graduates. My baby, she's in college now. Good. And I know if they call me talking about they want to, leave school, like, where you gonna go? Yeah. Like, I'm a tough love the situation. Like, no, you're gonna stick that out. Whatever you dealing with or whatever, we're gonna talk about it and address it, but you're gonna stay in school. Yeah. And I didn't have that. So it wasn't, so when I decided I wanted to, and the funny thing was I wanted to leave school because I felt like I was missing something here.
Streets is calling.
Yeah,
Streets
and
was
I wasn't
cold.
missing nothing. Missing your
Not
friends,
at
and
all.
I'm
Not
missing
at
the
all.
music, the clubs, and
Mhm.
and in the grand scheme of things, that stuff wasn't really that important. And and I wish I'd have really took advantage of the opportunity, but I didn't. Um, then I wasn't balling like I used to because I wasn't training like I used
Yeah.
to. I wasn't putting the work in like I used to become a better ball player. I was just playing off of talent. You know what I mean? But as I got older and into college age, I realized all the guys I used to wipe the floor with on the court, they all caught up to me.
Yeah.
Like
I believe we both was derailed.
Yeah.
Even though we came full circle in
Yeah.
walking into our greatness now.
Yeah.
Our learning curve was 20 plus 2 decades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we right now, I think we're in a position to turn that pain into our passion now, right?
Yeah.
And this is what this show is about, from dope to hope, to talk about, the things that we've been through. So my question to you is, you mentioned a lot about like some traumatic events that happened in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did using empower you? Did it take away like those events?
Using was something that I used just to suppress. Suppress the thoughts,
Yeah.
Because in the back of your mind, it got so in my household, it was like whenever a holiday came, I couldn't really enjoy the holiday, whether it was Christmas or someone's birthday or Thanksgiving or whatever, because that's when they always fought. That's when the fight always started. It was always a holiday or someone's birthday or after the family get together and we get back home. I know it's about to be a fight.
Was alcohol involved in those?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My mother was a drinker. My stepfather was a drinker. And I think, at the time, my mom was an attractive woman and I think he had some insecurities.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That played into that as well.
Yeah.
And he was a lot older than my mother as well. So I think it was a control type thing also because she was a lot younger than him.
Yeah.
These are what I'm coming up now.
Yeah, absolutely.
During that time,
Nah.
you can't really see it for what it is at that time. You still trying to manage your own feelings and navigate your way through whatever it is we're trying to navigate our way through at the time. When we're 15, 16, 17 years old, basically our only real, go to school and work towards becoming whatever you're going to be in life.
I mean, and our brain wasn't fully mature yet.
No.
Like, and we're actually witnessing adult things, and our young adolescent mind could not process this, right? So what do? Right? We suppress.
Yep.
And our outlet is, if it's girls, right? Because listen, we might not have known it then, but that was just our way of acting out or looking for love. We wasn't getting, so we just channel it to young ladies, right?
Yep.
Alcohol, drugs,
Yep.
gambling, all of these things, man. That's out here in the urban environment, right? That in our environment, in our society, right? Seems like, especially being a man, these things was promoted, right? Yes. As many women as you can get, but we were broken, man, and we didn't know we were broken. But the follow up to that question. What was your longest run? It's a 2-part question. Your longest run of using and your longest time being clean.
Well, probably now I got 12 years. That's
Praise
probably
God.
Definitely my longest.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I would put together a year or two here and there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And depending on what's going on, always around the time my kids were being born, I would, kind of shut it down a little bit and step up. And then once you get your comfort level back, and then you start slipping back into your old habits. And then, I'm just going to do this. And You know, oh, I ain't gonna do it again. The next thing you know, you right back in that repetitive.
Like legs, you just can't eat one.
Yeah.
We didn't understand that concept.
Not at all.
And we had addiction personalities, right? Like
Exactly.
addicted personalities,
Exactly.
right? So whatever we did it to the max.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We try to be the best at it.
Yeah. Listen, that was the most consistent thing in our lives for a long time, bro. You know what I mean? We just made sure that was there.
And you know the funny thing, Rob?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, all them years that it takes you to finally get it. Like, but when you're going through it, you don't realize that you're wasting time and wasting years. Like you're not even thinking like that. Nah. Like, you know, but next thing you know, you look up, you're 30. Then you look up again, you're 35.
Doing the same thing.
You're still doing the same thing. And then you don't see the insanity because you know the people you're around are either in that same doing the same thing, or you know, for me, for a long time I was what you called a functional addict. You know, I went to work every day, paid my bills, did what I had to do. But I was still getting high. You know what I mean? So that was still keeping me from being what I really should have been, you know, a lot of years earlier. You know what I mean? So
that's you know, crazy people don't know they crazy. like you I mean, you know, it's you have to, you know, be diagnosed. And even when you get you know, you prescribe something, you don't know that you didn't take your medicine. It's almost like addiction. Like you said, bro, we were in it. We were in it, insanity. And I know for most of us, bro, it happens when we take that picture, right? When we take that picture going in, looking dark, skin dark, weight down, and then
black,
right? and then 60, 90 days later, we looking at ourselves and said, wow, look where I was. You know what I mean? So
but the glow came back.
Yeah, the glow came back. Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
so,
sir.
Yeah.
But the next follow-up question, you kind of led into it. Like when did you lose your vision?
That's a good question. I think right around the time when I left Elizabeth and left here and went down to Philly, went down that area first. I think at that time I had to do something. Like, you know, I was just, you know, it was just a lot going on. I was just living like I was here. I'm, you know, weekends, I'm jumping on a train, going to New York, going hanging clubs. I come back to Elizabeth, and then I'm over here. Then I'm over there with you guys on Catherine Street, and then I'll be over there for 4 or 5 days, and then leave there. Then, you know, it was just like I wasn't doing anything. I just needed to try to break the monotony of nothing.
You
know what I'm saying? And you know, and the thing they always tell you got to change your people, places, and things, which I tried to do, but I still wasn't ready to surrender. So of course it was just a matter of time before I found that same world down there. You know what I'm saying?
Your hands was here. Like when the police say surrender, right? They want your hands up, right? You only had them here. I wasn't ready to surrender. It was like I took it more like I needed just a break. You know what I mean? I needed more just like a break. And then eventually you start, you know, your mind plays tricks on you. Like you don't even realize that you're setting yourself up for the pickup. You
know, even if you're not picking up, you're putting everything in place for the pickup.
Mentally, we weren't there.
And you do it subconsciously. You don't even realize you're doing it.
You know? Man. Listen, I myself, you know, I had to, you know, my challenges was a little different. And me, I just picked up one and I kind of substituted, right? And I kind of looked at, I'm not using the dope no more, right? You know, I ain't smoking the coke, you know, I ain't doing that no more. But then I started to take the pills and you know, smoking. And so what in my mind, I was clean. Right? All I did was alternate my drug of choice. But the addictive personality was there as well, you know, and it just, And my bottom, man, it was like at that point to where like she was done. She was done with me. My wife was, she wasn't my wife then, but she was at that point to where like, I can't do this anymore. And that was my bottom. It didn't take prison for me. It was really about to lose her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life, I lost so much. I'm saying like, wait a minute. My mind was clear enough that says, wait, you're going to choose this over that. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Styles P, listen, I'm a D Block Locks fan. And when he made I Get High, that was almost the celebration. Right. It was just giving us freedom to say, hey, you know what? I choose this over everything. It was like a declaration almost. You know what I mean? And like, listen, man, but I'm glad that I had that ultimatum because that pushed me in the right direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how did addiction affect your relationships with your moms and your children?
Well, with my kids, I had periods of clean time with the kids, but even though they were young, I think they knew something wasn't right, as much as I tried to mask it, and I don't think that I was as available, because sometimes once you sit there and get high, you don't want to do nothing. You just want to lay back and the kids be looking at you like, Dad, let's go do something. Or,
take me to the park.
Or tomorrow. Do this and that tomorrow or later or whatever, or you pass it on to somebody else. Oh, what you doing? Take my kids with you, do that. So, thank God I have a great relationship with my kids now. Because when I was going through all that, they were young. And then, my two girls, my oldest, she was 13 and my youngest was 9 when they moved to Florida with their mother. Okay. So that was tough on me too. Yeah. Because I was used to them. I had them every weekend. So now I don't have my kids here. So now, in my mind, I don't really have any parental responsibility. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, of course, you start being a little more reckless again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You start being a little more reckless. To keep you grounded. Yeah, you start being a little more reckless because, sometimes your kids or being there for your kids will stop you, or in your mind, like, I'm not doing that because of this, my kids, whatever. But now my kid's not there. So there's nothing to stop my reckless behavior.
Some type of balance there.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's nothing to stop my reckless behavior. So after once they were gone, it was getting out of, it's getting a little heavier than usual, No, sure. And then it was another experience, my kids weren't there and, you try and suppress those feelings and, I'm fighting back and forth with their mom. I'm like, that's a whole nother story.
And all of that, what you're going through, right, is just fuel for this fire.
Exactly.
Right. Because we not having these conversations, right? What we did is go do another bag, right? Yep. Go smoke. This is how we dealt with life. And man, I'm grateful to deal with life on life terms, as they say in the rooms, man. Yeah. So let me ask you, what do you think is the most important factors of helping individuals step away from that hustling and using lifestyles?
Well, I'm gonna try to answer this question best I can because, there's a lot of other factors involved. Now, to get a young kid off the street, they're gonna look at you as, what's the alternative? Mm-hmm. Okay. You know what I'm saying? What's the alternative? What do you have for me I'm not gonna want to do this? You know what I mean? Now, as far as doing drugs and everything, we just have to be more involved, especially when we're dealing with Black boys, because we all know that in this country, Black men and Black boys, we got a target on our back. Mm-hmm. And it don't matter what your income level is. If you got a PhD or a BS or a BA or you know, and none of that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They just see your skin color. So that automatically makes you a target, whether it's fair or not. So, you know, and now if you got these kids out here and they're just going around aimlessly, and you got to understand what's going on politically too. Like all those, like when we were growing up, you had the CETA program, you had you know, everybody, you had the centers, you had so much, you had so many things you can do.
Different outlets.
So many different outlets. These kids don't have any of that anymore.
No, they're taking away a lot of the programs.
You know what I mean? Because what happens is every time a city budget needs to get cut, the first thing they cut is the services that are provided to neighborhoods of color.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing that's going.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the issues that I see outside of mentorship is identity and self-love, right? Because a lot of the times, man, you know, we're shaped by our environment. Yeah. And our environment doesn't show us a lot of love,
no,
right?
It don't. No.
And like, you know, I'm in Chicago last week, you know, doing some work down there. And I pulled over to the corner boys, man. Like I had to let them know, like, yo, you loved, you know what I mean? And I pulled over and, you know, dude walking up to the car thinking I'm ready to cops up.
Yeah.
I said, nah, bro, I'm good. I just wanted to holler at y'all real quick. You know, and so I'm talking to him, man. And we exchanged telephone numbers. They allowed me to pray with them. So sometimes it's just someone, you know, stepping in and mentoring, right? And listen, I'm not expecting that one conversation to change a life. But man, you know what? At least give somebody the information, you know, and it is very important that we do our part. Because like I'm not taking responsibility, but like, yo, we're partly responsible because like we contributed to that dysfunction, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So and I feel like, you know, it's an obligation for me to try to rectify some of the dysfunction in destroying some of the families that was affected by my ignorance. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what advice would you give to others who may be currently involved in selling and hustling? You know, and how would they go about making a change?
Well, the change has to come from within, but you definitely want to have someone to try to guide them along. You know, a lot of these kids out here, and not even kids, even adults that still caught up or whatever, and they don't really know how to get out.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I get out, what do I do? Where do I go? Sure. I can't get a job. I can't get this. I can't do this. I don't have a car. Boom, 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 boom. And we live in a day and age where, you know, most of us are not even that available anymore because you got to work so hard to maintain your life. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that 30 years ago.
No.
You know, 30 years ago, even in black families, you know, the mom or the wife was home.
Yeah.
Raising, you know, with the kids. Dad was out working or whatever. He come home 4:30, 5 o'clock, should have his dinner cooked. You had to be in the house to eat dinner, blah, 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 blah. You know, the black family structure is broken all the way down right now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not so much that we don't want to do anything about it, but it's the time. Most of us work so hard. When you get home, you're too tired to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm not really trying to use that as an excuse, but it's about availability. So, you know, it's easier for someone who, you know, if it's someone, I just feel like, you know, if you have these at City Hall, you have these different programs and stuff, you know, we have to, it's a hard question to answer because it's not something that me and you can do on our own, but you know, it has to start somewhere.
So you know what, and I believe it's a good start, right? Is allowing people like us to run these type of programs, right? Yeah. Because you know, it's hard for a person with a PhD that may have the doctoral or just book smart. We know what it takes. Like so for me, like apprenticeship programs is an answer for me, right?
Yeah.
you know, having, our goal is actually to have some transitional housing. Like, and the key factors to that is your mindset. Yeah. Like nothing happens until your mind changes, right?
Yes.
So like, how do we do that? Brother, we got to go back. We got to peel the onions back, right? Yep. We got to peel the layer back. So, all right, man, these events that we were just talking about, bro, we got to deal with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because once we start dealing with it, I'm in therapy. Like, and you know, we talk about the stigma.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm proud to be in therapy because every other week I'm meeting with a therapist to help me to personal development, to deal, because a lot of the things that's stuffing, I'm not stuffing nothing now. Like I need to have a conversation. I need to have coaching, right? I need someone to help me figure out life. Yeah. And if our community would just surrender, as you said, bro, things would be a lot different.
It would. You know? It would. But the problem is that, like I said, you know, mental health has always been stigmatized in our communities, and most people in our communities wouldn't even admit to having a mental health issue. Yeah, they would take it as an insult.
But smoking and drinking, that's how you deal with your mental health. Your emotional health, right?
But what I'm saying is that's always been the answer in our communities to whatever we're going through mentally.
Yeah.
We try to drink it away, or we try to snort it away, or we try to smoke it away. You know, we never, went to a mental health professional or one of the best things that ever happened to me when I was in prison, I was able to talk to a psychiatrist and a psychologist. So now I was able to, like you said, peel the layers back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then to start making myself whole again.
Yeah.
So now I started really understanding my behavior and why I was making the decisions and choices I was making, not realizing that it had to be brought out of me.
Sure.
It had to be brought out of me.
But you was willing. You was willing to have the conversation.
Yes, because I never, I'm not going to say I never, when you're out here living your life, we don't really take the time for that. Yeah. So I commend you for that you actually take the time to make sure and meet with someone who can help you navigate.
My mentals is everything.
You know what I mean?
If I ain't right emotionally, right, bro, the marriage ain't right. I can't run a business well. Like I can't lead well if my mentals is not all together.
Everything affects everything. It's the same with me as a DJ. If I'm not right mentally, I can't work on my music. I can't mix. It's like one big cloud. I can't, I'm not moving the way I should move. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing the things I'm supposed to do. So I understand that completely. Yep.
Yeah. So how do you stay motivated? Like, because we're still in a world, right, where we go past certain areas. We still have certain friends who use. How do you stay motivated not to go back down that path again?
Well, that's kind of my motivation. Yeah. So in a way, because I see them and you don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And then what happens is once you get clean and you a life without drugs, you're able to now, your savings account has grown.
Yes.
Now you have some money and you feel good about that.
Yeah.
You feel good about the fact that if you want to go on vacation, you could just go on vacation. Or if you need a car, you could just buy a car. Yeah. And, these are things that probably like for me and you at this point in our lives that we take for granted, but there's a lot of people out there that still can't do them things. They still can't just, if they take a day off of work or by God, they get sick or something and be out for a week or two, they may possibly be homeless because they don't have have any savings or anything like that. So we're blessed in that aspect. You know what I mean? But that's definitely my motivation because I love my life the way it is now. You know what I mean?
So I basically replaced that negative with a positive, right? Like, I'm listen, it's not just about church, but that is my relationship with God is my foundation, right?
Absolutely.
So for me, I go into the halfway house to try to help other brothers, right? I do prison ministry. I just replaced, and that's what we need to find out. because you know, addiction, you're just trying to fulfill something.
Yeah.
Yo, all you got to do is replace it with something positive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Listen, health, man. Yo, like now, bro, health is wealth. I understand it now. I'm not even chasing the bag no more.
Yeah.
Like I want to live.
Yeah.
I want to live a healthy life because we've seen people who rich. Boy, listen, if they can buy some health, they would.
Yeah.
They'll give up all their fortune. So listen, it's just changing the perspective and putting what's important. And I tell you, one of the most important things, bro, like, yo, they said something that was so profound years ago. It's information. It's reading, right? If you want to hide something from
put it in a book.
Put it in a book.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I ain't read in high school. I ain't read while I was out there hustling. Listen, but now it's information. Information turns into wisdom, and that wisdom is transforming my life. You know what I mean? So there's some steps here. It ain't no automatic like, all right, put the alcohol, the drugs down, put all that down, and then your life just changed. You go to church, you just changed. No, this is work.
Yeah, exactly.
This is work.
Because quite simply,
yeah,
they gave us all the tools in our communities to destroy ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Guns, drugs, sexual violence, poverty, homelessness. All that is brought into our communities. Everything is right here for us to destroy ourselves. You look in the Black communities, you see a liquor store practically on every corner.
Yeah.
Now what I'm noticing, and I said this to my wife earlier, it's a smoke shop on every corner now.
Yeah.
So they're putting all this stuff right here, you know, for us to destroy ourselves.
Dispensaries, right? They
You know
you can legalize it all
to
you want.
destroy ourselves. But what they will not put in our communities is the tools that we can use to build better lives for our families and for our communities.
Nah.
They won't, you know, there's nowhere. You got 1,000 smoke shops. There's no way you can get some financial literacy. There's nowhere, there's not even anywhere, you know, a mental health, unless you have health insurance, you can't just go and get mental health help. Like you can't even go into, like, one thing, I don't know if you watch The Chi on Showtime, right? Now, The Chi is based out of Chicago, and there's a lot of going on. But one of the things I love that the men on that show do, they all get together. It's about 6 or 7 of them. They sit in a circle, and they let it all out. Stuff they can't even tell their wives and girlfriends.
Sure.
They talk. They there for each other.
Yeah.
You know, that's big.
Come on. We got to stay right here. We got to stay on community, right?
Yeah.
We have to. And this is why AA and A is so successful.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't fit in there because there's other issues, compulsive behaviors that we're dealing with that AA and A might not can help.
Yeah.
But the community, myself, I'm involved in it's a group called the Winning Circle, right? It's a monthly subscription. Listen, I'm paying to have a circle, but yo, it's one of the best things that has happened for me and my family because, but I'm gonna be 100 with you. Like, yo, it took me almost 40 something years to really know that I wasn't being the man that I should have been or I can be. And I needed to get with some brothers, as you was just saying. Like I need to get with some brothers who hold me accountable, but also sharing and being transparent with their shortcomings, right? And what that helps me says, I identify with that. Yeah, I'm feeling some type of way when my wife tell me something, right? I don't like, you understand? So it's helping me, man.
Man, it's something good to have, and get back to that point. And the main thing that's good about the circle they do on the Chi, because like, you know, you're married, I'm married. You know what I mean? Like, you know, sometimes your wife could be stressful. The marriage can be stressful. You know what I mean? But you don't really have an outlet to get that out of you. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't necessarily talk to your wife about that because it's going to turn into a big argument and a big fight. And now you're just compounding the problem. So maybe like if you watch the TV show, The Chi, like they gave us the blueprint. For real, like if you watch The Chi, they got so much going on, but they gave us the blueprint. They're giving us the blueprint on how we deal with it. Like, yo, I love when these men get in a circle and they all going through whatever they're going through, and they can leave it right there.
Nah, I'm living it every Monday.
They can leave it right there, and you can walk out and you feel
Yeah.
like you just took a weight vest off.
Nah,
you
man,
know?
we need that. It's actually, you know, who created Myron Edmonds. He said vulnerability is the new currency. Like, bro, we gotta be vulnerable. Like, we have to be transparent, and don't listen. If you having issues, bro, talk about it.
Yeah.
Ain't, man, no more holding that in and leading to heart attack, stress, strokes, because you don't want to talk about what's going on in your life.
Listen,
You know
what I learned to be definitely was transparent. My wife would tell you from the first time we met, I put it all out there. I said, I put it all out there. I wasn't hiding anything.
Yeah.
So either you're going to be able to deal with what I've done or you're not going to be able to deal with it. You know what I mean? But here it is.
But now, see, it's easy to do with our spouses, right?
Yeah.
But other men, as you mentioned, like, that's where we need to
No,
you know what I mean?
Because the other men, that's a good thing too, because not everything can be shared with your wife.
Well, nah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's not even got nothing to do with other women or anything like that. It's just we know that our wives can't help us with what we're dealing with. You know what I mean?
And this is what happens. Women try to raise men.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
Only a man can raise a man, right? There's so only certain identifiers that we can relate to, right?
Mm.
And just like the opposite sex, there's certain things that women can only relate to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because there's some things they say to us we don't really care too much about, but it's just like we say stuff to them and we looking for a certain response and we're not getting it because they don't really care about that. They don't, you know what I mean? It don't affect them the way it affects us. So that goes both ways.
So let me ask you, man. Yeah. How has DJing played a part in your success?
DJing, the music is one of the reasons why I always loved house music is because it's always been a music. It's not an insightful type thing. Back in the day, if you was listening to any of you get all hyped. You know what I mean? House music is not that. It's a spiritual thing.
Sure.
It's a spiritual thing in a way. It's something, it's something that you feel in your soul. So I just use the music. You know what I mean? I use it as a platform. Like when I do Dolce on Wednesday nights, it's not so much that I'm DJing there. It's a platform. People who come there, they can celebrate their birthdays. They can celebrate their accomplishments. I encourage that. You understand what I'm saying? I encourage that. We had someone out about a month or two ago. She just put a book out. I'm like, yo, come to Dolce, man.
Yeah.
We're going to shout you out. You can sell your books out in the front. You know what I mean? And, but this is I try to use my music as a platform for the community. I want the community to use me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I want the community to use me.
Yeah.
I want them, if nobody else cares, Flash cares. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just received an award from
yes,
the community, right?
A hoodie award.
Congratulations.
We got a hoodie award. Me and my wife, we received the award from the community work that we do and how we use the music and House Music Wednesday as the platform to reach out to the community and bring the community together. You come out on Wednesday, you see people that have been beefing for 30, 40 years.
Yeah. And
now they're friends. They, and energy is infectious. So when you put out good energy, you're going to get that good energy back.
Definitely.
You're going to get that good energy back. So on Wednesday nights, we put that good energy out there. And everybody that's on my team that works with me on Wednesday nights, that's our focus. We want everybody that walk through the door to feel like somebody.
So, and I'm glad you mentioned your wife, because I need you to tell the audience how important your wife has been for your success, your wife and the community. Oh,
most definitely. See, my wife was very popular in the house music scene before we even got together. So, and she was always the type that wherever she was at, she's documenting it. She's taking pictures, taking videos. whatever. So once we got married, it was just a natural kind of fit.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a natural fit. She loved the music. I'm a DJ. And then things just started happening. Like when I first got back into DJing again, I didn't really expect it to take off the way it did. It just one thing led to another, the opportunities started coming, and I was just taking advantage of the opportunities. And as I was taking advantage of the opportunities, I just kept soaring and soaring and soaring and soaring and soaring. And my wife was a big part of that. Like she helps me with the promotion. She helps me with the Wednesday nights, and the type of personality she has, people come out because they, they come in the door, they don't see it. Where your wife at? Because they want to feel that love. You know what I mean? And that's what we do, and she's definitely a big part of what I'm doing, what I've done. She's helped me out with my DJ career immensely because she's introduced me to people that I wouldn't otherwise have known, to get certain opportunities to do certain things. Then, of course, once I get the opportunity, it's up to me to play the music. That's the easy part for me, playing the music. That's always been easy for me.
Once again, we talk about support, right? And that's the backbone here.
Exactly.
Right? And I know for me, there is none of this. There is no From Dope to Hope. There's no Regeneration One. Like, you need the support home. You need the support from the community, and these are integral parts in making this thing work. Like, there's no one man that can do all of this.
No,
you know what I mean? So, and I know, man, I know I'm grateful for mine. And it shows every week that I see you on Facebook, right? That you're grateful for yours.
Most definitely. So, most definitely. We've I told my wife, when we first started dating, I said, listen, I got a crazy life right now because everything I already started as far as me getting back in the DJ game and getting booked and do a lot of different events. And it's just, I said, I'm gonna show you something different because, I'm gonna show you something different. So, through my music, I've been able to navigate a lot of different worlds, a political world. I'm in a lot of different rooms that I normally wouldn't have been in if it wasn't for my music. You understand what I'm saying? So, so these are the things that I get to share with my wife, when I DJ for Bobby Kennedy Jr., who's running for president. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's something that's a gig that I wouldn't have got if I wasn't able to navigate certain circles, and because I was dealing with so many different people. It got to the point where a lot of political stuff, I'm DJing, doing music for that. A lot of community stuff, I'm doing music for that. And when you're doing stuff like that, like the thing with house music, all these DJs, they all worrying about being the top dog or whatever. That's not my motivation. I don't care if you think I'm the best or the 5th or the 10th or the 25th. You know what I mean? My thing is using the music as a ministry. The music is my ministry.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's my ministry.
That's a good way of looking at things.
You know what I'm saying? The music is my ministry. This is how I reach people.
Sure.
This is how I reach people. This is how I get their attention and then give them something that they may not know they needed.
No, I like that. And you know what? We all got a part to play, and this is my ministry, right? From Dope to Hope. Regeneration, Journey to Wholeness. But you mentioned something, man, earlier, and I just got to go back to this before we wrap up. But man, you talked about our wholeness, bro. We've been broken since young, right? And a lot of our brokenness came from generations before us. So what? And you talking about DNA, you talking about events that mom might have experienced, dad might have experienced, your stepdad experienced, right? All of that stuff, man, it affected us. And so we've been broken since we were young. And now we on this journey to wholeness.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's where I just encourage people, man, like, continue the journey. Like, we didn't get this way overnight. So don't expect overnight results.
No.
Put the work in.
Gotta put the work in.
Get the therapist. Care about your health. Yeah. Like, do what is right. You know what I mean? And like, this is how we going to stay on this path. Exactly. Man, to achieve what we've been born to achieve. Yeah. You know what I mean? So Man, look, I just need to end this, man. What's your why in life? Like, what's your why? What's motivating you? And where do you want to see yourself in, next year, next 2 years?
What motivates me is my biggest motivation is knowing where I was and where I'm at.
Okay.
That's a big motivation for me, because once you start to accomplish things, you want to accomplish more things. Once you start, being able to help people and do things, and because a lot of people don't even realize that before I started DJing again, I was heavy in the community as an activist. Okay. You know what I mean? So that's always been my purpose, and now I'm finding my purpose. You know what I mean? My purpose, and I'm just using the music, as the catalyst, as my way to reach people and to help people. And of course, my motivation is to be able to properly provide for my family, my wife. Thank God my kids are doing well. They don't really call me and ask me for anything, because they're doing okay. You know what I mean? But you still want to set yourself up to when it's time for you to leave this earth, you don't have to worry about them. You know what I'm saying? They good. Because, most Black people, when they die, all they leave is bills. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They don't have anything saved. You usually got to, you don't have any, you got to raise money to bury them, or you may have to cremate them because you can't even afford to bury them. So that's our reality. Not me, not us in particular, but as a community,
for the masses, for the community,
for Black people in general, that's our reality.
It is.
So so that's basically that's my motivation. I want to see how far I can go with this music, but I want to do it in the way that I've been doing it. I'm not gonna step over nobody or step on somebody. That's not the way I want it. You know what I mean? I'm not that type of person. That's not my personality anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go about it. That's why I'll never be a rich person, because you got to be sort of cold-hearted, it seems, to really be that, to make that type of money. You even said it, like, you ain't even chasing the bag no more. You know what I mean? Because you have to put yourself in a different mental space, to be an astute businessman. Because and when you see people that's really, let me give you this real quick. Something I heard a long time ago, which is true: behind every great fortune is a great crime.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But you got to expound on that a little bit.
Well, think about it. The Kennedy family, their dad was a bootlegger. He had mob ties. We all know this is documented. Take Rockefeller, J. Paul Getty, these people who these Rockefeller, their crimes. Look at the politicians. Possibly our next president can be a convicted felon. Everybody around him went to jail. You know what I mean?
Okay.
These are crimes. These are the people that we elect to protect us and to serve us. But they're only serving themselves. Senator Bob Menendez is on trial now. They finding gold bars and stuff and stuffed his suits, and so they come into our neighborhoods. They want us to vote for them. They promise us everything, and then once they get in office, they're only serving themselves.
So and I'll interject here.
Yeah.
Because everyone is subjected to temptation.
Yeah.
Right. And as you just mentioned, even us, we seen a way out, right, of our poverty, and we took a pact. That's what our resource was, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's a desire for more. So one of the things I've learned to be content with a little and a lot. So when you don't have much, you're good there.
When it's enough,
you got
it's
a
enough.
lot, you're good there. You know what I mean? But just know how to deal with both. And a lot of times we compromise our values because we want more. And I just realized, for me, and I just want to end it with this. My why is, I want to be that Harriet Tubman. right? I'm free, right?
Yeah.
And I need to go get my people
Exactly.
and bring them the freedom as well.
Yes.
And that's the purpose of this, man. When we talking about financial freedom, but we're in a land of opportunity to where we can get it. Like, I don't even put, like, you know, we understand that we might not have certain access to certain things, but we don't got to stay in the projects, right? We don't have to stay there. But right now, it's people getting houses. Bro, fix your credit. And this is, look, we're going to go on to this, but this is part of this because I need to bring my people with me. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not, you know, that's my objective. That's my why right there. Of course, my family, man. So, bro, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming through.
No doubt.
Appreciate the wife over there.
No doubt.
And listen, next week, man, we're going to have another guest. Just look forward to pouring into you as I'm being poured into. And just sharing the information, man. Each one teach one.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.